Welcome back, everybody, to the Rays franchise on MLB The Show 24. I am Gladys the Baker back here, and this is episode 4 of the franchise. Welcome. We resume play at 18 and 14 on the AL East rankings. We're number 3, and Taj Bradley gets the start versus the Mets at home for Game 1 of this 3-game series, and it is a close loss. We lose 3-2. Taking a look at the box score, we've got 8 hits and 2 walks. Not much going on, but Isaac goes 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs, and Francisco Mejia with 3 for 5 on the day. He stole a base for Mejia as well. Taj Bradley has a good game, 6 1/3 with 1 earned run. Clevenger lets one in, and ultimately we take the loss. So we'll move on to Game 2 with Jeffrey Springs getting the start, who has been very good for us. And no, it's another 2-3 game, and we take the loss again versus the Mets. 9 hits, 3 walks. We've got a couple doubles, and Isaac drove in the only 2 runs of the day. So still contributing in a major way despite the .216 average. Jeffrey Springs does have a quality start and good relief from Clevenger and Armstrong, but the damage is just too much. The offense cannot get it done. So we move into scouting once again. Lester, Pereira, Mesa. Let's take a look and a reminder at what we saw in weeks 1 for all of these guys. Johnny Lester looked very good, very promising with the MLB draft rank of 44 in week 1. And with further scouting, we have upped the scouting progress to 70%, and he looks solidified as a B potential, most likely high 60s overall player. Could be somebody that we look at to draft with some seriousness. Rich Pereira in week 1 looked extremely good, especially on that defensive right side of that board. And in week 2, it looks just as good. Actually, the bottoms have come up to really give that a lot of good stuff there. But Pereira's offensive side seems to be lacking. Not sure what we'll do with him yet. Alexi Mesa in week 1 looked like this. Very good ratings all over the place. The attributes are exactly where we would want. And in week 2, they look pretty much the same, but they've come down a little bit. That overall and potential both still look very good and very promising, but with a draft rank of 28, do we pull him from that far back? I'm not sure. The setup in week 5 will be a further look at Pereira, and then Andrew Bates and Napoleon Heim. Let's take a look at why they seem promising. Andrew Bates first is going to be master contact and vision hitter with supreme defensive skills at shortstop. That looks incredible, also very quick. Napoleon Heim is a starting pitcher who looks dominant in almost every category, minus maybe the hits. So we'll see what happens there. We took a look recently at the best and worst performers on the team through position and pitching, but I do want to take a closer look at 3 guys today. Josh Lowe, who has average ratings on most of the stuff that he's got, but a good fielder with high speed and stealing. He has not been contributing as much as I would like to see. A 204 average and only a 266 OBP is not impressive whatsoever, and Josh has been worrying me as of late. We move further down the lineup to Isaac Paredes, who I have placed at 4 in the cleanup spot due to his power, vision, and discipline, and a decent clutch rating. He's come in through some big moments, but a 216 average is just not quite enough. We need more than that out of our number 4 hitter. And we will move finally to Jose Siri, who is showing regression across the board in nearly every category, despite only being 28 years old with an 82 overall. So I'm not sure what the problem is with Siri, but he's right now batting for a career low on his average. The OBP is 275, which is near the bottom as well. Slugging is down 94 points from last year. We'll move forward into Game 3 versus the Mets, and Zach Littell gets the start today, and we do take the 6-2 victory and avoid the sweep by the New York Mets, and we improve to 19-16. The box score shows 9 hits with 5 walks. We've got some doubles from Hampson, Diaz, and Palacios, and Paredes and Palacios both go home run today, and Garrett Hampson stole 2 bases, making up for the fact that Lowe, Hampson, and Mejia got caught earlier. So Hampson trying 3 on the day. Zach Littell pitches well, and relief is good behind him to support that 6-2 victory. We will then host the Chicago White Sox, and Shane McClanahan gets the win in a 7-5 victory. 10 hits and only 1 walk, but Josh Lowe coming back with a big day, 3 for 4, and that does include a stolen base. Shane McClanahan does a mixed bag of work with 12 hits allowed, only 3 earned runs, and then relief is strong, but we had the offense there behind us today. We do take game 2 now, and Harold Ramirez gets 2 doubles, Mejia a double, Brandon Lau with a triple and a home run. Harold Ramirez goes 3 for 4 on the day, and Brandon went 2 for 4 as well. Randy Arozarena stole a base, and Eflin pitches a great game. Clevenger gives up a run. Rest of relief does well. Pache and Fairbanks behind them to close it. So game 3, can we sweep Chicago now? Taj Bradley will get the start versus Chris Flexen. And this is actually a rematch. Let's take a look back here at game 2 of the series that we played not very long ago. Looking at the pitching box score, Taj Bradley went 4 innings and allowed 4 earned runs, and Savali came in. You remember that vengeance for swapping positions there, but Savali gives good relief. Let's take a look at what Flexen did. He went 6 innings with 2 earned runs, only 5 hits allowed. So, can we reverse our fortunes here on the rematch versus the Chicago White Sox? Let's see what Taj does. I will be doing a quick manage here. So Taj is going to start the day versus Benintendi, who will take a single. Juan Moncada gets a fielder's choice, so he will replace Benintendi on first. Caught stealing at second, and Eloy Jimenez will go down. So a somewhat casual inning, I would suppose, for Taj. And Flexen will get his first shot against our lineup as well. 2 quick outs, and then Yandy Diaz with a double, and Isaac Paredes now in a chance to bring him home will ground out. We move down to the bottom of the second, and Flexen is getting a good start with a strikeout, another strikeout to Brandon Lau, and then Jose Siri comes up to bat. And based on his recent struggles, I do want to hop into this game and take a look. He is still batting .212, but he will take that to right field. And that is going to be a 2-out double in the bottom of the second for Jose Siri. Maybe he just needs to be watched in order to perform well. Not sure what's going on, but that's his 3rd double. We will move over to Ahmed Rosario, who we have talked about several times. And he will take that deep to right center field, going far, going back to dive, and he misses! It does drop in. So Rosario will bring home Siri and actually get a triple with 2 outs left in, well, 2 outs done in the second here. But that is his 3rd triple and does bring in the RBI. Love to see it. So now, with him on 3rd, we'll move up to Francisco Mejia, batting .253, and a scorcher into center field. So Tampa Bay going up early, 2-0 now, thanks to the bottom of the order. That's awesome. Josh Lowe will be the next one as the lineup turns around. It's 1-2 against him, and he will chop inside at that one. He'll take the short route and get out of the second, but we now have the lead. Let's not lose it. Taj Bradley here in the top of the 4th will give up the solo home run immediately to Luis Roberts. Andrew Vaughn will fly out, and Max will also have a solo home run. So Taj gives up 2 runs in the same inning here to tie it up for Chicago, and he'll get out of there. We'll move to the bottom of the 4th and see if we can answer versus Flexen. Brandon Lau will walk and get on first. Siri will fly out, and now Rosario will try, and he will triple again. Can you believe it? A 2-triple day for Ahmed Rosario. And we've got the lead one more time. Lineup will turn over again for Josh Lowe, who will go out, and then we'll skip forward to the bottom of the 6th. Chicago will make a change now, so Flexen comes out as we've got the lead, and if we can hold it, he will be the losing pitcher this time around. Brandon Lau will single again, and Jose Siri will take a walk behind him. So we've got 2 men on, and Rosario's up again. We got to take a look. There's no way that he can do 3 triples, right? That's correct. He will not do 3 triples, at least not to this point. That is almost a double play, but Rosario does leg it out. So we've got men on the corners now with 2 outs. It's 0-2 to Francisco Mejia. Big swing and a miss on the sinker, fools him, and they are out of the 6th, but we've got the lead again. And it's time to bring in Phil Maton. He's been pitching incredibly well, 21 innings with 2.57 for his ERA. Let's see how he does versus the White Sox. He will give up a single to lead off the top of the 7th. And then a line drive. Paul DeJong is up next and will fly out as well. And then Brian Ramos will also get out. So a clean inning for Maton. He will go through the 8th as well. And in the 9th, I do want to make the change. Fairbanks has actually got a little bit lower energy than I expected. So let's take a look at Pache, who's got a fantastic clutch rating still. Only 4 1/3 played, but no earned runs allowed. So Pache will get the nod for the save here. With his clutch rating, I'm comfortable with this if something happens. And a little dribbler by Luis Robert. And Pache will assist on that for the first out. Definitely want to get some more play time for Pache. Why have these guys if we're not going to use them? Why pay them for not doing a job? I need to know who we can depend on in whatever moments they are called in for. And Pache was behind 3-0 versus Andrew Vaughn, but he sneaks the first strike of the at-bat in on the outer edge. And a foul ball will give him strike 2. So the count goes full to Andrew Vaughn, and with us only up by 1 run here, this is the spot that we need to clamp down. I'm really hoping Pache can do it. Vaughn will pop that up to right field, and that is a casual out number 2. Only 1 left. And Max is back. I'm not sure if that's Stacy or Stassi. I'm not positive. I didn't look up the pronunciation before this recording, but he's at our number today. He's 2 for 2. Can that success continue for Max? And no, it does not look like it. He will get a little ground out over to third. And that is the end of the game. So we do end up sweeping the Chicago White Sox, and we are on a verified winning streak. Look at the boys posing over there. That's awesome to see. Rays win indeed. The box score for that close victory shows only 8 hits, 2 walks, but Ahmed Rosario, definitely the star of the show today with 2 triples. That is not something you see very often. We'll scroll down here, and Taj does have a quality start and is credited with his first win of the year. Phil Maton and Colin Pache behind him do very well. So, we are on a 4-game winning streak, and Jeffrey Springs will take the first home game versus the New York Yankees, and we win that one 4-2 as well. Only 6 hits and a single walk there, but 3 home runs. Power was the name of the game today. And scrolling down, the pitching also did extremely well. Jeffrey Springs gets his quality start with only 1 earned run over 6, and relief was pretty much untouchable. So we are now at the lead, 23-16. We are 7-3 in our last 10, but we are back on top of the division. So playing very well, but the Orioles and the Jays are directly on our tails. Anything could happen at the top. Season is still very early. Going into Game 2, it's going to be Zach Littell versus Garrett Cole. And there's a brief injury update. Shane Baz is out for a day or 2. And we take the victory again. 6 in a row now, and that's 2 to New York. And the box score, wow, only 4 hits. A single walk allowed, a Rosarena doubles, Josh Lowe triples, and Mejia home runs. And how did the pitching do? Brandon Lau got a stolen base as well. Zach Littell has a fantastic game, and relief is very clean again. Love how the relievers have been playing lately. But it's time for more scouting, and to remind you, we've got Rich Pereira, Andrew Bates, and Napoleon Heim. Rich Pereira, we are going to actually get the 3rd look at him. Here's a reminder of week 2 after we finished scouting for the first time, and he still looked very well. The defensive numbers blew me away. I had to get a closer look and get more progress to see the offense, and they do come down just a little bit on further scouting. So I don't think that Pereira is going to fit in with what I've got planned for this organization, but it took a couple weeks of scouting to do it. Andrew Bates, This is how he looked in week 1. Very strong offensively and incredible defensively. Week 2 will bring the numbers down a little bit, but he still looks very good. And look at all those secondary positions. He is just like Garrett Hampson, a shortstop with good speed, great numbers, and he can play everywhere. Napoleon Heim, a starting pitcher, looked this good in week 1, and with further scouting progress in week 2, his numbers still look very good, although his draft rank for us specifically has dropped massively down to number 100. So with those scouting updates done, we'll take a look at the other guys, Bert Clark, Donnell Pena, and Miguel Quintana. Bert Clark, as the first look here, is another elite defender with incredible speed, but I need to see more offense, so I'm scouting him to see what can happen in center field. Donnell Pena at first base looks very good everywhere, primarily contact and discipline, but I'd love to see more from him. And Miguel Quintana, it looks like an elite level pitcher with up to a 96 potential. Definitely have to see more so we can round out our second round picks. Game 3 in New York, we'll see McClanahan start, and New York will be looking to avoid the sweep. Harold Ramirez with a bruised leg. It's only a couple days. And New York does successfully avoid the sweep in a high-scoring game. We lose 8-7. We got 14 hits and 4 walks. Just a brief highlight here. Garrett Hampson going 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs. That is awesome. I love how much he's been able to contribute since coming over from Kansas City. He also had a home run today, so did Palacios and Siri. And then the pitching, kind of mixed, but the offense just couldn't get us there. It's hard to win games when you let in 8. That's true. Zach Eflin will start in Boston, and it's a 12-6 victory. The offense is red hot right now. We had 4 doubles, a triple, and 2 home runs from the boys all told. Rene Pinto notably going 4 for 4 with a walk as well. But Rosario with 2 errors. What's going on with that? Zach Eflin let through 6, but with the incredible offensive display, that's all that we needed to get it done despite the earned runs allowed in. Relief did very well as well, but I want to go up and look. So Rosario is listed at shortstop right now. I don't believe that's where I had him placed. Let's take another look. He is listed as the shortstop versus right-handed pitchers, and I'm not sure why. Brandon Lau's second base. I was seeing if maybe I could swap. But Garrett Hampson, I remembered now, is a shortstop primarily. So, yeah, that makes sense. Let's get Rosario out of shortstop since he's been having trouble fielding, and we'll put Hampson there. So Game 2 versus Boston is a loss, and Harold Ramirez is back. Not much offense to speak of today, but we did get 7 walks, with Jose Siri having 2 doubles, so a double-double day, and Isaac Paredes with a home run, 2 stolen bases, and 2 caught stealing. Taj Bradley has a fantastic game. No earned runs over 6. Relief is a mixed bag of results as we threw everything at them, pretty much. 6 relievers coming in Game 2. Jeffrey Springs will get the nod in Game 3, so let's take a look. He did so well for us in the last couple times that we've seen him. And Tanner Houck is going to be pitching today for Boston. Hampson gets a single to get on, and I definitely want him to steal, and he does indeed. With a 92 speed rating, I'm going to try that pretty often. Palacios gets on with an error, and it's up to Ahmed Rosario. Now batting 283, and yeah, I got to see what happens. 2 men on with only 1 out, and Rosario fouls it to begin the at-bat. I've been so surprisingly pleased with Rosario. He was not a guy that I really had on my radar, but he's done very well lately. And he will gently get that into right field, and because we had Garrett Hampson steal second, he was in that position, although with Palacios reaching on an error, I guess that really is probably a non-factor, but I'll take credit for it anyways. We'll move to a Rosarena, who will take that deep into right field, and tracking back, he does have it. Meanwhile, with 2 outs, we've got men on the corners. Can we bring home any more runs? It's currently 1-0 here in the top of the first. We've had a good start. And Brandon Lau, who has been so good for us, will watch strike 3 on the outer edge to end the first. So we can't capitalize there. We will move ahead to the top of the 4th, and Rosario will walk. He's got a 91 speed rating. Can we steal second? No. No, he's caught. He's toast. Rosarena gets on, but with a higher stealing rating, he does steal second. I love being aggressive with base running. I love it so much. And then Brandon Lau, a 2-run home run. Wow. Wow, Lau. Should have used that first. Jose Siri strikes out, so that will do it. We'll move to the top of the 5th now. And Francisco Mejia will ground out. Josh Lowe is up next, and he will get on. I see speed, I see stealing, and we do. We take it. Another one. Garrett Hampson comes up behind him now and will reach on an error. So with a 3-run lead, is up to Richie Palacios. But he lines out instead. Can Rosario have some magic? He reaches on an error. And now it's up to a Rosarena. But first, here comes Dad. Uh-oh. Coming to make that pitching change for Boston. It's been a tough day for Tanner Houck, and it's time to go. Who do the Red Sox call in as a replacement? We'll see in a second, I guess. It was longer than I thought it was going to be. Is that Brian or Brian? Brian Bayo. Thank you, PA announcer, who's been pretty good through 43 innings. He's got a 3.95 ERA. But the averages look to be decent against him. So bases loaded, 2 outs with a 3-run lead, and Randy Arozarena approaches the plate. Big moment to make a statement. And he will swing on the first pitch, and that goes to right center field, a line drive. That's going to be a single for Arozarena, but it will clear all of the bases. 3 of them driven in. What a moment for Arozarena. It went exactly where we needed it to be, and every man on base had some speed. So he drives in all of them. He clears it. 1 man on now, and Brandon Lau with 2 outs. The count is 1-2. And what's this, Arozarena? No, he will get caught at second. He saw all of the stolen bases we've already gotten, and he wanted one for himself. Moving into the bottom of the 5th, Jeffrey Springs will strike out Wong, and then Abreu will pop up for out number 2, and Jaron Duran will go down. Top of the 6th, and Bayo is staying out there. Brandon Lau will take a walk to first. Jose Siri will switch spots on a fielder's choice, and we're stealing another one. That's right. I don't know how many stolen bases that is yet. I've lost count. Ramirez grounds out, and Francisco Mejia will get a single and drive in Brandon Lau. So wow, and then Josh Lowe with a 2-home run himself. I can't even call it right. I'm spitting my words out. 9 runs through 6, and we're not done yet. Garrett Hampson with a double. Richie Palacios is up now, and he strikes out. We'll move to the top of the 7. How hot can this offense get? Rosario grounds out. Arozarena is up again, and he will fly out, and we're back to Brandon. 2 outs now, and he will double. It just doesn't stop. Boston has a different pitcher now, and Jose Siri doubles behind him. So Brandon comes home. We're up to 10-0. Unbelievable. What is happening? Ramirez takes a walk behind him, and then Mejia is out. So top of the 8th now. I got to keep looking at the offense. Josh Lowe walks. It's time to steal, and he takes it. We're up by 10. It's time to play fast and loose here. Garrett Hampson walks behind him. So now 2 men on with great speed. We're up by 10. I want to see it. We're going to steal all. A double steal. Does it work? It does. They're both there. Wow. I don't know what's happening today. What's in the water? But Palacios will bring them both home off of the double steal with a single and 2 RBIs. Boston makes another pitching change. We are running through them, and Rosario will single immediately after that. Still, nobody out, and Arozarena with a single and another RBI. It just doesn't end. Brandon Lau with a double. This is the best offensive day I have ever seen. 15 runs have come across through 8 innings. Siri and Ramirez go down, and Mejia 1 for 4 on the day. Can he make it happen? No, the runner has been thrown out. Wow. So Jeffrey Springs, meanwhile, on the other side of the coin, has gone through 8 innings almost. That's 7 1/3, 7 2/3. Can he get the 8th clean? Devers goes down striking out. Wow. So we're in the 9th. The lineup's turned over again, and Josh Lowe has another single. Can he steal again? Can we break a record today? Yes. Josh Lowe steals second. Hampson flies out, and Richie Palacios will drive in Lau with a single again. It's now 16-0. Unbelievable. When was the last time we saw a game like this? Rosarena's out on a fielder's choice, and with him trying to go a complete game, I want to take a look. Jeffrey Springs currently 2-2 against CJ Crone, and it is the 101st pitch. That will run the count full. I just can't believe what I'm seeing today. I really can't. The offensive output has been pretty much a month's worth. A month's worth. Let me try that again. And Crone will watch. Strike 3. Dead center of the zone. A bullseye to take him out for the 9th strikeout of the game for Springs. Oh, but this camera view lets me know. I know what's happening. Dad's coming. Yeah, it's time to make that change. Over 100 pitches from Springs. Cannot ask for anything more from that guy. That performance has been indomitable through 8 1/3, but it's time to go ahead and close it out. Obviously, we don't need the big guns. We will bring in Sean Armstrong, who has struggled this year through his 14 1/3 innings played with a 5.65 ERA, and he's getting crushed by lefties. There's low risk, and we've already gotten the reward in the offensive showing here, but 0-2 against Valdez. Big swing and a miss on the cutter. What are you thinking swinging after that one? I don't know. So we only need one more. And Armstrong is behind 2-0 versus Vaughn Grissom. And misses inside there, 3-0. Hey, man, there's no need to fool around here. We're up by 16 runs. You can challenge him. I promise it's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. Let's just get back in the zone and get going here, okay? Let's end the game. Vaughn Grissom ahead 3-0. Sean Armstrong has missed. And for the 4th pitch of the at-bat, a cutter gets in there low and inside. So that's a little bit better. Again, we don't need to play around. We're up by 16. A fouled off cutter there will run it full now, and we're down to the final strike of the game. Sean Armstrong just needs one more, and we can close out this historic game. And Grissom will take that deep to left field, going back near the warning track, but it is brought down. What an unbelievable day for the boys. Celebrations for everybody, and I just can't believe what we got to see today. So happy that I'm recording, and this is part of the franchise. I mean, just incredible. What more can you say from a 16-0 absolute blowout? So the box score to see all of this offense here. 18 hits total, 5 walks as well, and just an incredible day for everybody except for Harold Ramirez. Sorry. We've got doubles. We've got home runs. We've got McRibs for everybody. It's a buffet. Everybody contributing again except for Harold Ramirez. Sorry, dude. How many stolen bases was that? 4. 4 stolen bases for Josh Lowe. 2 for Hampson, a Rosarena, and Siri also gets some. Unbelievable. And that puts us at 26-18. We are 8-2 in our last 10. However, despite streaking like mad, Toronto still leads the division now. We try to close out the series with a win, but Boston does take the 2-3 victory. I'm not really even concerned about the box score on that. We just scored 16-0 in game 2. We'll take the first game versus Toronto, and it comes off of a great performance from a Rosarena. That home run was what we needed. That was a 3 RBI home run from what it looks like, and that's what propelled us to the victory. McClanahan had an okay day, 6 innings pitched with 4 earned runs. Kelly gives up 1, but we do take victory versus the division leaders in game 1. Number 2 is going to be Eflin, and that is a high-scoring loss. 10-9, we will drop that game. Yandy Diaz goes 4 for 6 on the day. Brandon Lau, 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs. Jeez, man. The offense is just... how do we lose a game with 22 hits? Well, I guess the answer is that you also give up 10 runs, and we did that mainly because of Eflin. 1 inning pitch. He only got 3 outs, but he allowed in 7 earned runs. It's just about the opposite of the blowout, except the offense was still there, but Let's move on to scouting. Let's cleanse our palate here. Taking a refresher look, Bert Clark in Week 1 looked like an elite level defender, but does the offense appear in Week 2? And the answer is not really. The defense still looks incredible, and the highest marks really, but I have more needs than just defense, so Bert Clark may not be it for center field. Donnell Pena at first base looks great all around. Can we maintain the positive outlook on him through Week 2? It does not seem so. The offense dropped off pretty hard there, and he dropped down to a draft rank of 133 for us, so even the computer recognized we may not have use of him. We'll take another look at the first week for Miguel Quintana and why he looked so promising as a starting pitcher. He's great everywhere, no apparent weaknesses, and Week 2, we'll see most of that being confirmed as true, though it's only 30% of scouting progress, so we'll have to see probably a little bit more of him to make a firm decision. We'll move on to the Week 7 lineup, and it's Bert Clark for another look, Todd Beavers, and Foster Crocker. The first look at Todd Beavers is this. He looks great offensively, not much power, but a competent defender. Eager to see what update we can get for him. Foster Crocker, a starting pitcher, just like all the others, does not seem to have a glaring weakness. Very interested to see what further scouting reveals for him. So with Week 7 of scouting scheduled now, we'll continue and hope to take this series versus division leaders, the Blue Jays, and Sean Armstrong had an injury. Great, another one. We end up dropping the game 5-4, 9 hits and 3 walks for the guys. Josh Lowe with a home run. Lots of doubles, my goodness. That is 6 doubles on the board if you count them up with me. Couple errors, another one by Rosario. Taj Bradley has a great game and does not allow an earned run, but relief was the problem there. So we'll go back to Boston, I guess, or rather we'll host them this time. Jeffrey Springs versus Tanner Houck. If that sounds familiar, it's because those were the pitching matchups that we saw in that massive blowout. But today, we get shut out. A 5-0 victory for Boston, and we only had 3 hits and 2 walks. So whatever happened in Boston does not happen at home. The water is just different over there. Jeffrey Springs goes 5 innings pitched with 3 earned runs, and Phil Maton gives up 2 behind him. But with no offense to speak of, we can't do anything against Tanner Houck, who himself goes 8 1/3. Sound familiar? That's what Springs did. So with that loss, we are 27-22 as we seek to maintain the challenge against Toronto up at the top of the division. We've got to beat Boston first, and we can't do it in Game 2 either. A 5-4 victory for Boston this time, as we do muster up 9 hits, but only a single walk, couple home runs, and 3 doubles all told. I almost said 3 triples. Another error by Rosario, and then a Rosarena on this time. Rosario tries to make up with a stolen base. Zach Littell has a tough day, and it's ultimately his fault we lost. Shane McClanahan versus Cutter Crawford for Game 3. And let's not get swept, please. No, Boston does it again. They were still mad about that 16-0 victory. So we muster up 10 hits, 2 walks, and it's kind of split all over the place. Not a major contributor anywhere per se. We do get some RBIs, but Shane McClanahan pitches near a quality start, but Pete Fairbanks actually giving up 3 earned runs was the real problem. McClanahan is tasked with that loss, but that was Fairbanks' fault. All right, so we are on a losing streak now, 5 in a row, and then we do take Game 1 to break that streak against Kansas City. It is 8-7 in our favor. 11 hits and 6 walks on the day. Great job offensively. What happened with pitching? Zach Eflin goes 5 innings pitched with 4 earned runs. Garrett Clevenger with a clean inning of relief. Phil Maton clean. Jason Adams is the one that blew it, and Kelly and Armstrong behind are clean as well. We do come back in extras to win the game versus Kansas City. So Game 2 is going to see Taj Bradley versus Kyle Wright. Taj has been on such a tear lately. Can we take Game 2, get back to our winning ways? No. It's 2-3. Kansas City wins. We are losing too much for my liking. We did get 11 hits, only a single walk, however, and nobody could really make the difference against Kansas City. We can't drive in enough to get the job done. Jose Siri does have a home run. Yandy and Rosarena get doubles. Rosarena had 2, actually. Great game by Taj. That's easily a quality start, but then Pete Fairbanks gives up another 2. What's going on with him? I don't know, but we'll see scouting first anyways, and we will finish the profile for Burt Clark, and we'll take a look at Todd Beavers and Foster Crocker. Burt Clark, as a reminder, last time that we scouted him, looked still elite on the defensive side of the ball, and offensively looked kind of mid-tier, and it actually even looks more bleak with further scouting. 65% of the way done for Burt Clark, and I think I am all the way done instead. So let's see Todd Beavers and why he looked promising in week 1. And with further scouting, does he still look just as good offensively? Yeah, pretty much. He pretty much does. The defensive numbers are a little bit worrying in left field, though. I'm not sure if Todd Beavers has a spot. We'll have to see how it all shakes out. Foster Crocker in week 1 looked very promising as a starting pitcher with no apparent weaknesses, although strikeouts and home runs were his lowest categories. In week 2, the strikeouts come up, home runs remain mostly in place, but he still looks very promising. I'm not sure about a second-round pick for him yet. The setup in week 8 is a whole new lineup. David King, Roberto Duarte, and Steve Vergara. Let's take a look at why I picked them. First up is David King, and he looks great offensively. He's got incredible speed and stealing ratings, which you know how much I love, and he's going to be a good defender as well, hopefully. We'll move on to Roberto Duarte out of Puerto Rico, and he looks great everywhere. No single real overpowering stat, but awesomely balanced. So he could have a lot of success. Steve Vergara out of Venezuela looks very good and promising as a starting pitcher, and I'm hoping that we can be done with week 2 in the second round pick. But we are 28-25 now, 3.5 games behind the Blue Jays, and the Orioles are right there on our heels as well. Not much room left. See what happens in episode 5. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you soon.